Bolt driver ngihlangana naye ku Bolt angazibenyapi sharp sa exchange ama number lapho ayi ukhaya la kangifonela vela lo ngifonela vela wangitshela ukuthi like mina ngine girlfriend intombi but like ngithanda wena you understand ngithanda wena umuntu amangisamfile you understand njalo silizixabana uqombela abangayi goqa umfana sharp ngathi mina ayi asizame asigibele lenqola sibona ukuthi like siphelela laphi nayo ayi sidate nomfana kumnandi ku lovely angikhombi like angirespect angikhombi ukuthi like unomuntu you understand angikhombi vele ukuthi unomuntu okay sharp ang-invite kubo one day vele ang-invite kubo okay sharp ulale roomini outside ang-invite kubo ayisifike kubo the guy was romantic guys the guy was romantic uyenza wena bo picnic ntontoni picnic date roomini lakhe candles ntontoni understand okay sharp enjoy vele umuntu wakhe phone athi baby ngisendleleni ngibuye emsebenzini angizizwa kahle vele ngishayise ela ngizathi 5 minutes away u5 minutes away ugela uyeza ukhathele ubuye emsebenzini uyagula in whatsoever umfana ngitshela vele ukuthi like umuntu okuyabuya vele ngithi mina hayi manje mina ngizoyenza njani athi intombi i-option e1 enginayo ukuthi uhambe lapha enkukwini uyehlala khona for 5 minutes ukuthi alala yena after ngingakhapha ngithi angeke ngihlale enkukwini mina ampane nje kunyiwe angeke ngihlale enkukwini athi intombi why foster mina ngifuna ukulahlekela umuntu wami hey in sibuya kude mina ngithi ha ukhona ubona manje ukuthi ubuya kude uyangigulela wena ngisendlini enkulu ke angeke ngihlale enkukwini mina angeke ungise never ngikwatela ukuthi like why ufuna ungihlalisana enkukhu why should you send girlfriend yakho over mina ungangeke ayisilwe kube into enjalo ukuthi like intombi ngiyacela ngiyakuncenga manje ngibona ukuthi manje uyapheni kumfana abantu singambe vele ngihlala nenkukhu ngihambe ngihlale nenkukhu vele kuthi 5 minutes kudlula 10 minutes ngibona ukuthi like sengihlele nenkukhu lapha like sizanuka nale nkukhu lezi angazi ngenze njani ngifuna nokuphuma ngifrustrated ngiqwathile nje kunyanyile okay sharp akubuye after 30 minutes athi lo muntu lo akafuna ukulala ntombi so ngono ulale la ngithi ngiyolalaphi athi khona la ngizokunika isponge ngithi uyangihlanyela wena uyangihlanyela hayi manje kuyanyiwe uyangihlanyela wena athi ntombi ngiyacela hey ntombi ngiyacela angitshela istory nje ukuthi wabuya kude hey ini uba nomntwana kenzeka lo istory nje sigaca sestory okay mfana hambe vele abuye neplate lokudla vela nginika ukudla ke ngidle sharp ngiyabona ukuthi like sekulate ngeke ngisakhona angeke ngisafike kithi angeke ngisafika kusana ama-taxi and yena mangaphuma ngemoto yakhe bazombuza ukuthi like uyapi understand haya abuye nesponge vela ngidlalela isponge guys ngalala nenkukhu yazwa ngalala nenkukhu okay sharp ekseni wavuka wangikhapha vele sahamba wangikhapha angiphina today umuntu nje oza kimi ngitshela ukuthi unomuntu yey ngimthuka kasani
family called a family meeting for me and I feel like it's for the most dumbest reason emhlabeni like so basically me and my cousin don't get along like akimrate hangratana like we just don't get along so this all started in 2012 imagine so this one time kitana ka gate right me and her walking and then komra ko kukwaka there's this other long batla ne so we're going there and then we find the batla is locked so we keep knocking my grandmother's not opening so I'm like ka jumpa na muslang kitse nna lo jumpa the gate ka jumpa gate and ha ka jumpa gate khanta mama ka wait like she just parked her car now utsana ka jarete khazina ka ashu washenla let's call it lethabo ashilo washian mama mbali ufetho jumpa gate guys I could hear her running akwatile yo plus kuka ka nala ka mbatho matlatsa wa shina banane so ka tsana mtlasa ono go ka kukwaka guys mama ka shilo mphene go ra khona mpetha guys me olane sharp after mo kukwaka la itse boko ba bamba no ga tloela ngwana ke ngwana sharp ga tloela tabate mantsi buya mo batho ba ja dijo nna ba njisitse di big ba nisitse ko khone ba re ke lebele ko morao sharp so khazna ka yena o khone ho jana manna ke ja di big ka ke tlo mo kreya sharp after mo sharp ebile ke lebetse ka yona taba yone ha lebetse mo like ne iphila ele dintonyana tsa botlale at the time nna le na re ntse mo fatshe le with our other cousins we eating ha ja mo motho o tholla dijo and then I get mad I forgot to read nerulala atsama a lentlale a re nna ke tshulutse dijo ba mpethela re nna ke tshulutse a zanka di tsholla guys dijo tsena the other time nna le nna rohana ha fetsa mo ka antlale ya ho nna ke mo khile bangira bampeta chap la bona re ke dilonyana tse dintšhine ke dilo tse dintšhi di accumulate beno wa ngwatisa no this other time nna le nna re ntse ga draw pila ho monate drawing ya go gone ka motse sa re drawing ya ka guys sister arena itse ko ka drawing yak moloi ang kutsa dia pa kidimale ne okay mara ne go tsotsa le nne ke motsa but that's not the point though like sharp after that like 2 weeks ago she tells me her like we at my grandmother's house and she's like okay listen I'm going out and then like I'm obviously she's sneaking out because my grandmother wouldn't allow her to go out so she's like ka matri ke tlo phonela please come open for me sharp and I'm like okay it's fine I'll wait in the dining room tla be ke let's movie le lots so my granny doesn't really mind how let's TV bushi as long as Osamara says ke let's TV ke timile mabana ka montlo my granny never switches off the lights ka montlo because safety reasons so ke let's TV I'm phone like hey I'm outside ke bula curtain is ka mo level ke mo level ngam dela ka chuma mabana ka montlo ka metlo bone ku ka shu utla shiana nyoko bona go gahalang ha ga tlax bona cousin ka mini skirt leather jacket ka di campus ngwanyana o tshwere brutal ka letso ka shaba ngwana ha o ke la mola ba bitsa bo malume ngwanyana ke a sna tawa le bona a tsena ka montlong a tsere motele ne ke tshwara ang konka tlhang ke go puma spa tlhoka I'm better guys I'm better ka motho ang kong like she kept on conquering my head putsa go motho konke like after mo shama ba so ya ba lo re nna ba re nna ke re sa ngwana mong a ke tse fitlhile ba ntaba ba re tlapile ba le re ba babedi ba fetsa go konka nna so I'm piletsa family meeting ba re we will solve our problem but we are going to take it back to where it started nana guys mara we guys family ka magaeng re itimara like yo mara nna nga sula ka mo forgive wa khava o janama nna ba njisa di bits
hey guys so izolo ngizingenela ku Facebook vele ngiyazikholela ngizibhekele nje ama post bengibhorekile nje izolo so ngihlangana this other group chat here ku Facebook right ngihlangana nayo vele umunye umntombazane postile ukuthi hey I need 5 girls free everything is for free beer free transport like everything is for free I was like okay sharp since ngibhorekile and people are out so let me give it a try if we scam le ntombazane bebazobhala ukuthi like no she's a scam whatsoever so mangiloko ngisikhona phansi ngiyabona ukuthi no man into ejwayele ukuyenza ukuthi ucela abantu bazana i5 baphume out understand ngithi yazi let me give it a try because ngile ngambona before a postile kanjani I was like yo ngiyasaba but like uyaphinda futhi uyipost I was like guys this time I need to go out kunini ngila errest kunini ngibhala ama assignment so thingambi ngishayela umoya okay sharp ngimtext ukele ngithi I'm available girl samba what time athi I when ngitext around 6 vele okay sharp ngicela ama tricks around 6 ngiyekuye vele bekithi mina sala groovini maybe groovela ngaphandle or siyanje egroovini like akufanelanga masigqoka amakwakwa ngizifakele nje ilo itrack suit ngicomfortable ngisazini ngifuna nje ukuyozipholisa inhloko nje angifune next angifune bo hike sweetheart you understand ngifuna uba nje itomboy today ngizifakele ama track suit ngifuna uba umfana ke today ngifuna uba intobazana ngifuna uba umfana yabona installation yami njani ngithe angizingena nginandaba okay sharp around 6 ngimtext vele athi hayi woza kuphi isihlangana kuphi okay sharp ngihlangana nayo kwena kakakhiza ayisambe seresi yakhe vele so athi ukuyalimi hayibo ntombazane uzocuka uhamba nje ngithi ya ngihamba nje why athi la sekhona akugqokwa ka so girl asigqoka so but akunankinga ngikuboleka outfits okay cool sharp ngithi okay sharp akunankinga ngina problem usithi bathi akugqokwa so understand ayisambisa resikagele mongifika resikagele uyabona ukuthi umlaki uyabona ukuthi intombazane le iyazikhona uyabona ukuthi intombazane le uyazikho onemali intombazane nemali uyayibona ngokungena komini lakhe nje uyabona ukuthi intombazane le inemali okay sharp ngihlale phansi ayazilungise vela az makeup angi-makeup nami angangi-makeup kakhulu thinta nje ubuso angilungisa installation yami ngifaka ama-eyelash ngiwakhiphe izolo angifake nama-eyelash ugirl sibe bahle wena se and then angiboleke iroko le-Gucci like a short mini dress ye-Gucci okay sharp kufika amanye amantombazane masiloko sitshintsha vele kufika amanye amantombazane angiboleke iroko lakhe le-Gucci angiboleke like ama-curtain amakwayikwayi amancane okay sharp sibe ama-bedi like do you know a bedi angathi bengunodoli izolo ngathi bengunodoli okay sharp ufikisha isikhathi around 9 siphume vele siphume sihambe vele club vele like iclub ubonayo ukuthi yabona le angena noma ubani okay sharp sihlale phansi angibuzi mina next mina ngizelela ngizophuza mangiceda mangibona ukuthi angisifuni next ngiyazibholthela ngihamba ngehisi yami okay cool sharp sihlale phansi vele starter kuza ama ice trophers vele isiphuza yabona ukuthi kuserious ke la at the same time ngithukile ukuthi wena bangibhadalise because mina nginebhadi yabona la kufika mina khona kunebhadi kungenzeka bangababhadalisa abanye amantombazane maka mina mase kufika mina babhadaliswe you understand okay sharp uqale ice trophers vele ngibona ukuthi ngene plug-in kufika amabhodlela vele angazi ama-Moet or Moe angazi ibizo kanjani kufika ama-Moe kufike ama yini Hennessy VSOP leli bhodlela elincane leli cute you understand okay sharp kufika amabhodlela nje ngingawazi okay sharp ngibona ukuthi yabona la kungidinga kungidinga ngingaphuzi kakhulu today cause angibazi nalabo gela angazi umuntu la kungidinga nje ngivule la ngiphuze but ngibheke ngiloko detox ngiloko ngiphuza amanzi ngiloko ngidla ama ice amaningi okay shap kube mnandi vela ngifuna uqamba manga kufika la ngizizwa khona ukuthi like I'm tired and I'm tired like ngisafuna next ngimtshela vele ugela ukuthi like mina ngicela ukubolta ngihambe ay okay ugela acala ngibheke acala shintsha ubuso ayenza ngathi angizwanga but angibheke and then ashintsha ebusweni okay sharp achubeke aqhove vele guys ngiyabona ukuthi yabona la mangashaya maybe after 30 minutes ngizobe sengilokhile ngiyazifila lokho ngiphuza manje ngifuna ama ice okay sharp ngimtshela again ugela ukuthi mina sengifuna ukuhamba gela athi uhamba kanjani bangakafiki labantu abasilethela kwenziwani what's happening kwenziwani lana kwenziwani ay okay sharp ngithi mina bobani laba bazayo ene mina ngikhathele ngifuna ukuhamba athi kokuqala ugcoka impahla zami kokuqala ufuna ukuhamba nempahla zami okay khulula impahla zami uhambe ke khulula impahla zami ngithi yo wazi wangihlakaniphela intombazane ngathi yazini uku-escape la ukuthi ngithole ugayo oyi1 uzongibeleka ijezi lakhe ngikhulule le impahla zakhe ngimnikeza nanoma ngihamba ngenyawo ngizongena ku-Bolt ngifikise ngisiyama ngithi at least benginayo imali yoku-Bolt ke hayi okay sharp I'm sorry okay ngiyabona ukukhuluma fast like okay sharp okay ngimtshela ukuthi girl I need to go like ngifuna ukuhamba mina sengikhathele and abantu abanjani bona lapho guys 6 o'clock iyangikhatha manje bona kusele few seconds iyangikhatha ke manje
rude but waking up from a coma is a different breed of trauma. And genuine chats between me and you, I think that coma did permanent damage because I woke up and I was never the same after that. It's like my brain rebooted, but not all the apps reinstalled. 2018 matric, I was in my academic villain era. You know when you've been top of your music class for years, the whole high school career, untouchable, unshakable, happy birthday Beyonce herself. Then final exams come, everyone is serious, focused, hydrated, humble, scoring the same marks as you in every spot test. Yeah, I took that very personally. I locked the fucking 6-pack of Monster every day. My heart at a point was running Windows XP. My veins were pumping pure caffeine. I said to myself, if I survived this shit, Beethoven would be forgotten. Morning of the exam, my heart is freestyling. My head is doing parkour. In my head, I'm still like, I'm writing this exam. My practicals went in so hard. All I needed to nail was this theory. Delusion is a powerful drug. I just remember walking into the school gates holding my lunch bag, a tote bag, and a small backpack on my back, and the audacity of someone who should be in the ER right now. Walk into the school, my vision goes blurry. The first thing I do is remove my glasses because the logical thing to do when you can't see, when your vision goes blurry, is to remove the device that is helping you to see in the first fucking place. Big nigga brain behavior. The blurriness gets worse. Now I'm struggling for my life to put my glasses back on like I'm trying to defuse a bomb in the dark. Then everything goes black. The screen goes black. No warning, no credits. Just, are you sure you want to shut down? And my body said yes. Now here's the thing. My best friend Nati, he witnessed my final moments on earth. He saw my heart stopped when it stopped. Nati knew something was off because that morning I didn't respond to any of his texts. We always usually chatted before school. So he waited at the school gate for me to arrive to investigate. Why is his best friend mad at him? I wasn't mad, friend. I was dying. I didn't know how I thought I was gonna write this exam when I didn't even know who I am or why I'm here. From Nati's perspective, comedy special. He said the first thing he laughed at was the fact that I walked out of the car with my bags already on. I didn't step out of the car, take my bags out like a normal human. I walked out of the car with my bags already on, didn't even close the door. He says when I got to the gate, I paused and I took my glasses off for no valid reason. And then I struggled to put them back on. And when I finally succeeded in putting my glasses back on, they weren't even on my ears. They were hooked onto braids. He says I didn't even acknowledge him. I didn't even look in his direction. I almost walked straight past him and he stood in front of me and fixed my glasses. And he was about to ask me, are we beefing? But he could see something's wrong. Apparently, I looked through his eyes. It looked like I was looking into them, but I was looking through them because my pupils were doing freestyle choreography. My eyes were saying hello to different ancestors, but I was destined to be a qualified actress, of which I am now. So he really didn't believe me in that moment. He was like, this is some Oscar award-winning shit. He said the longer he looked into my eyes, the more nothingness he saw. So he touched my shoulders with his hands, and he's like, what the hell did you sniff for this exam? Apparently, I just blinked my eyes, looked at his hands like, why the fuck are these things attached to me? Plus, he let go of me and stepped back. And then I put my bags down normally. And then I put myself down with the bag, collapsed with the bags, followed the bags. And he said in this moment, he felt bad because he felt like he should have held me, But he stepped back because he wanted to see how my acting unfolds. Little did he know that I would drop like a beat, but he said a part of him still didn't believe me because of the way I felt like a noodle. My knees buckled to the side and my body just flowed with. His initial reaction was to laugh because he knows that there's not a single serious day in Kat's life, you get me? But at the same time, he was concerned because that was a hard fall. He was concerned that I hurt myself acting. He said he came up to me to tickle me for a reaction. I hate being tickled. I'll always react, you know, but I just lay there like a sack of potatoes. That's when he went into panic mode. And you know, the funniest part of this panic mode is when he said that he asked someone to bring him water, right? And the person gave him the water to drink, like put the water up to his mouth to drink. And he was just there like, you fool, someone's dead here, pour the water on their face. The school shuttle apparently took me to a net care first near me, and then I was transferred to the Mediclinic Heart Hospital because apparently my heart had palpitated to the ends of the earth. Genuinely, after my blackout, I don't know what happened, and I don't care because I wasn't there. I mean, I was there, but I wasn't there. It was just black. It was nothingness, no dreams, no nothing. The first thing to come back to me was my hearing. I heard muffled voices in that nothingness, you know. I heard voices. They were talking like they were talking in another room. You know when someone's having a conversation in another room and you can hear, but you can't hear what's being said, right? It sounded like that, but the voices were in the same room. And then suddenly my eyelids, I feel like a light on my eye, like yellowish, whitish light right on my eyelid. I couldn't feel a single thing until I felt a tingling sensation on my foot. Someone was trying to tickle my feet, but I wasn't feeling the tickle. I was feeling the pressure, but not the tickle itself. And the annoying part is I had no control over my body. So I'm feeling this shit, but I can't react to it. My body had its priorities twisted. Do you know how painful it is to can feel but to can't move? I wanted to kick so hard, but I physically couldn't. And the worst part is I started to feel the catheter around this time. So I'm sitting here trying to say what the fuck with every fiber of my being, but all that comes out is a moan, a grunt. I just said And then my ears opened. I'm hearing Onka Taretse, wiggle your fingers and toes if you can hear us. Right now, mentally, I don't have arms, so I could feel my feet. So I tried to wiggle my feet to the best of my ability, you see. And then consciousness started returning to me. You know, I opened my eyes, but it was so bright. I was like, Jesus, Modimo, tausa volume in my body. I know let there be light, but it's too bright. I can't see. Damn. Finally, I come back, and you would think that the next phase after waking up from a coma is recovery, healing, peace, notes, questions. Immediately, they start asking me questions like I applied to be here. They asked me, what day is it? I said, it's a weekday. Clearly, all of you are stressed. Then they asked me, what's your name? I said, you just said it in my sleep. That's why I woke up. It's Unkatlaretemos. They asked me, do you know who your family is? I was like, define no. Then they're like, do you know where you are? I was like, I don't even know who you are yet. Yet here you are asking me like I planned to be here. The doctor started explaining what happened, what I'm doing here. You know that calm voice where they're trying not to scare you, but they've already instilled the scare. I said, damn, I fainted at school today, didn't I? The doctor's like, today? You've been here for a week? A week? Missed the whole week of life and came back to questions. The doctor's like, yeah, your heart was very tight. I said, tight? Pussy, oh, this bitch has only been pumping for 18 years. That's a bit dramatic. Now I'm on bed rest. Guess who didn't write the exam? Overachiever. They're like, don't stress. I said, stress is my personality. They're like, no loud noises. I said, I am a loud noise. What am I supposed to do about myself? Hooked to a machine that beeps every 5 seconds. I didn't know if I was alive or if the hospital was just sampling my heartbeat for a diss track. Every time a machine beeped differently, I felt like I was unlocking a new level of life. And then family comes in, and in the hospital, family never whispers. They announce themselves. You are awake? Yes, I am, unfortunately. Embarrassing, innit? Here's the real trauma nobody warns you about. Learning to walk again. Tell me why the first time I stood up, I felt like Bambi. My legs had amnesia. They had forgotten how to leg. They're just there like, yeah, we don't know her. And they stood on business without standing. And then the guilt kicks in because everyone keeps saying how blessed you are, how lucky you are, how spared you are. And you're sitting there like, yeah, I hear you, I hear the chat, I get it. But I also woke up with a catheter and trauma. Fast forward to leaving the hospital. You don't leave healed, you leave different. I became paranoid about everything, about my sleep, about my heart, about caffeine, but not paranoid enough to stop being dramatic. Every chest pain after that, I was like, oh brother, here we go again. I'll see you next week. Real chat though, that coma rearranged something upstairs because every day I wake up confused, sarcastic, and slightly unhinged. Slightly. Which explains a lot. Actually, that coma didn't just take a week of my life. It took my sense of time. It took my tolerance for nonsense, and it took away my fear of saying exactly what I'm thinking. Once you've died, you stop pretending, and that's the real side effect that they will never put on the pamphlets.
Ubuclever buphela ngiqinile ukuvakasha ngingana cosmetic. Ngikhale ngaze ngaphuma nama eyelash. Ngikhale ngaze ngaphuma Okay, sharp. On Thursday, uNtombi yangifonela uthi Ntombi, ngicela uze la eSprings because mina ngiyahamba on weekend. So ngicela uzohlalisa uLindo icousin yami. I was like, "Guy, okay, sharp, ngizofika like Friday afternoon." She was like, "Cool, I ngahamba vele." Mangile ngiyazi like khabo anto wami. So why ngiyana cosmetic, you understand? Why ngihamba ne cosmetic ngizothola yonke into lapho, you understand? Kukithi. Hey, okay, sharp. On Friday ahamba uAntwam vele ayisale no girl ngithi kuye ngicela ngiboleke like cosmetic yakho zangizanga neyami. She was okay, sharp about it bekakhulu about it angiboleke vele akhe ngikeze ngayo. On Saturday ekseni athi Ntombi mina around 1 ngihamba ngibona umuntu wami, so ngizo cleaner and then ngishele ukudla ngishele like everything. Angazi if your mind. I was like, I know it's cool as long as ungeke ulale like khama umuntu wakho uzolala la because nami ngiyasaba ngiyi1. She was like, guy, okay ngizobuya vele. Okay, ngahlala vele mina ngabukela Netflix ngaborekanga. Everything was fine. Ngiwada ngiborekanga kunokudla kune Netflix no Showmax kuna Wi-Fi, understand? Okay, sharp ngihlala. And then around 3 ngizomani kusa manje sengifuna ukugeza ke manje. Okay, sharp ngihambe ngiyobheka insipho eroomini lakhe. Ngihambe ngiyobheka insipho. Mangibheka ukuthi izinto zakhe ngayitholi vele insipho. Ngihambe ngebathroom. Ngithole this other soap yabona like eyakudala but like not akeke setshenziswa kakhulu, understand? Okay, ngizivulela yona insipho mina ngigeza. What about leyo insipho is smooth man, understand? Ngithi yo I wonder insipho yani le mangithi ngiyabheka pale impepho. I was like hayibo. Okay, kunensipho enje elifini. Ngigeza ngayo ngibe free mina Antwami nje, understand? Ngiba free. Ngi-free nje. Ay, okay, sharp. Ngigeza, okay, sharp. Abuye ugela around 6. Abuye. Athi Ntombi ugeze ngani? I was like, ay, ngigeze nginsipho vele lapha ebathroom. Athi insipho njani ngale because mina ngishiyela ngale cosmetic. And I'm sorry about that ngikhohle ukushiyela. I was like, ay, amayibheki lapha ebathroom ngishiyele khona la ngithole khona. Okay, ahambe. Makabuye ugela athi, ugeze ngale yansipho la. I was like, yeah. Athi, yo Ntombi. Like I was like, I understand like kwenzakalani. Ngithi mina kwenzakalani athi akusinix vela ngifuna ukuthusa. I was like awufuna ukungithusa uyangithusa phela manje. Athi hayi Ntombi akusinex asiphume lapho. Hayi okay siqhubeka sibhekelele into bengibhekelele siqhubeka vele and then after that ebusuku sambe solala. And then one thing about me mangangena empedeni like angizumeke fast. That is cause ukuthi like ngizumeke, understand? Like 30 minutes ukuthi ngizumeke. That day ngivela ngalala kanje ngomntwana ngathi bebangishushushuzela so ngalala zwip ubuthonga ngalala. Hayi okay. And then masangilala izinto engiziphuphile. Abantu engisondelene nabo izinto engiziphuphile. I can't say ngiphupha angeke ngisho like ngiphuphe in details but izinto engiziphuphile. Guys, ama enemies wakho are closer than you. Ama enemies wakho are close. Angifuna ukucamba manga wabukelele kude kanti ama enemies wakho labonto uphila nabo every day. Izinto engizibonile guys ubabona uthulela ne ufuna ukuvuka ukuthi angisafuna ukubona next angisafuna lezi engiziphupha angisafuna ukuzibona ngifuna ukuvuka mara akuvukeki. I was like yo ngazifaka mangivuka into engithandaze yona yeah ne to go is to see.
Of Mr. Nice Guy, he will burn out from the pretentious Mr. Niceness and then he will lash out on you because now not only are things not going his way, you seem to not forget the things that he's doing that are horrible and you're not focused on the whole Mr. Nice Guy theatric that he's putting up for everybody, including yourself. You're choosing to focus on the subtle ways that he's torturing and abusing you. He will get so mad and he will get so frustrated. Okay, so story time on how my long distance relationship basically ended because he was tired of being the performative Mr. Nice Guy. Cool. So I've already made 2 story times about this guy. If you scroll through my profile, I haven't nicknamed him. I don't know. Let's call him Mr. Nice Guy. Mr. Nice Guy, like I said, we're in a long distance relationship. One of the first things that I noticed when I first got to his house is that, okay, he's a chilled guy. The first red flag that I noticed is that on his Netflix, I noticed that it was a family account, I believe. So there were other people there were other people that had profiles in his Netflix account. And I remember seeing My Love and I was like, My Love, like what is up with that? Cool. I eventually found out that it's his sister and I'm like, why would your sister save herself like that? And why would you allow her to save herself like that? He was like, oh well, I mean, I told her that this would cause drama between my girlfriend and I if I were to ever have a girlfriend, because at that point he was single when she did that. Cool. But I'm like, why would your sister even do that? Fine.
So we move on from that. I'm like, oh, okay, well, it's just his sister. This one time I'm looking for something, I think it fell under his bed, and I was like, okay, let me start looking for it. So I peek under his bed. Guys, tell me why I start seeing heels. They're not mine. I just arrived. Okay, so what's going on? I get upset. He notices. He's like, okay, what's happening? So I let him know. It's like, what is this, honey? Guess what I found out? It's his ex's stuff. Oh, I'm like, why did you get rid of this before I came? He's like, no, I did get rid of a couple of things. I sent her stuff. I guess these are the things that I missed. Oh, okay, cool. The other thing that I found out is that while I was there, again, I've made a story time about it. He decided to travel 8 hours and to leave me behind, basically to go and attend just a colleague's funeral, which I don't care what anybody says. You can label me as insecure. If somebody is just your colleague, you're not close. That person, I don't even want to say a close colleague. I don't think there's such a thing as a close colleague. Then if we start becoming close to a point that we're attending my mother's funeral or my dad's funeral, then we're not just colleagues at that point. We are friends. Because you it's not compulsory. You could have just sent me roses or something, but the fact that you were able to travel that far, inconvenience yourself like that, because you had to budget for the trip. I'm sure you had to pay. Okay, cool, fine. Then that happened, and I was like, I think it's kind of weird, the fact that you keep on being defensive and claiming that you just attended the funeral solely for the purposes of her being your reference. The next thing that happens, I got sick, and when I was coming over to go and see him where he stays, he had already bought a ticket for a concert. Fine. He lies. This is another thing about him. Again, the poor performative Mr. Nice Guy. He lies to me and tells me that he's willing to sell the ticket because he wants to spend time with me. We don't have a lot of time together, and he's been doing a lot of things. Cool, because he has to work. So he's gonna try. He didn't say he's gonna try. He said he's gonna sell the ticket, but he's not going. He kept on pushing this narrative that he's not going. I have it in my head that he's not going to this concert, and we're gonna spend time together. Did he not go to the concert? Did I not get sick? And he left me, guys. On that day, he's ironing. Mind you, he's still on it because I think we were fighting also at the same simultaneously on that specific day. So he's like, oh well, if you don't want me to go, just say. He knows that when I get upset, I don't say anything. And another thing that he would do is that he would not help me with the dishes in the house. He wouldn't help me with anything. And again, there's a video where I said that he expected a maid, a toy, and wara. He wanted me to clean his whole house. Mind you, I'm already doing kitchen duties. I cook, I clean in the kitchen, and I also make the bed when he leaves for work because I'm the last person to wake up. Cool. But for some reason, he expected me to also clean the shower, mop his dining room, do everything. Okay, as Pumila, back to the story. I'm saying that every time I would get upset at him if we fought, I would just keep quiet. That is when he would ever be willing to offer to help me because he knows that I'm going to say help, which is another thing. Again, I'm saying like he was so performative. Cool, pull me up. Another thing that he would do is that at the early stages of the relationship, we would walk together. This push togetherness. I started noticing now, the more the tension kept on building up in the relationship. Now, when we're working together, I'm all, this is me and this is him. Like, he did not give a damn. You know those videos where people say that if a person walks, you record your partner or your friend walking, and you're like, how long do you think it will take to realize, for them to realize that you're not behind them? If I did that shit, I'm telling you guys, that guy would travel all the way to the Eastern Cape and back without even realizing that I'm not behind him. Okay, pull me up. Another thing that he did is that I started talking about my business initiatives, what I want to do when I'm done, when I graduate. He's on time. Oh yeah, I think you should do. I think you should try and become a nail tech. I'm like, why do you specifically want to be? Why would you recommend me being a nail tech? Because I've already told you I have a wig business that's going on, and it's not that great, but it was starting late. So obviously, being a zoba, fantastic, He's like, no, nails make more money, and then it hits me. It hits me like a ton of bricks. Oh, Kanene, remember I told you I saw her stuff under his bed, the ex's stuff. One of the stuff that were there looked like it looked like a stand. So at first I thought that it's a wig stand, but then I noticed by the tip of it, it doesn't look like a wig tip thingy to put the mannequin head on top. So I asked him, he was like, oh yeah, that was an LED light. I said, what she need an LED light for? He's like, oh, she was a nail tech. So I'm like, now you're recommending me to do things that your ex were doing. He's like, no, it's business advice. I'm like, I don't need business advice. It's a whole different story where I'm done and out. and I'm telling him that I really need to start a business, but I don't know what to do, then you can make that recommendation. And number two, I just feel like, especially when he started saying, oh, I know it because it made her a lot of money. I'm like, why would you recommend this? If I took my ex's favorite cologne and then I started being like, oh, use this cologne, and then you later found out at a later stage that, oh, this is my ex's cologne, how would you feel about that? He's like, no, but it's business. What business advice? Because I don't need money. I'm not stranded. And I've already told you like the things that I'm willing to do. Why was I like offerisha isn't the ex zenza? Course, pull me up. We had a whole debate about that. He was like, oh, he sees nothing wrong. I'm like, okay, fine. Another thing that he would do, guys, that guy acted like I was a gold digger. I need to make a separate video for this, unless I'm gonna finish all of this in time. So he would act like I'm a gold digger in the sense that he would say things like, oh, when we first went out on a date, he was saying things like, oh, I'm sure everybody in this restaurant probably thinks that you're a gold digger. They probably think they're gonna order the highest thing on the menu. So there was insecurities going into the relationship. Also went as far as saying about, oh, people around me, if I were to introduce you to my friend, they probably think that, oh, you're a gold digger and all of that jazz. I don't think those were his friends' thoughts, because again, they had never met me. At least not his friends' thoughts alone. That's not what his friends would have thought alone. I think that's what he was also thinking to himself. Guys, this guy went as far as saying that this guy went as far as saying that he had a horrible dream. I said, what did you dream? He said, yo, he had a nightmare. He dreamt of me asking him for money. Yo, he dreamt of me asking him for money. I said, oh. He's like, yeah. I'm like, mind you guys, these are early stages of the relationship. Oh god, the red flags were there. Hey, fine. Let's pull me up. What else did he do? He had this thing of also over promising a lot of things, and then when I'm inquiring on those things that he was over promising on, I am the gold digger, because why am I asking about these material things? It's like, you brought them up, you promised them. Let me give you a prime example. I have HP ProBook, a laptop. I was with him and we were traveling, the laptop broke. I don't know how it broke, but it cracked mysteriously. Even now the screen still has the ink. Sorry. Fine. So my screen has cracked. He's like, unprovoked. He's like, I think we can work around that. I can fix it for you. Now a laptop. And there's so many other things that happen, but because I'm a good human being, I'm not a polocho, at least not entirely, like he's probably going around telling people. I'm not gonna say other things out of respect for myself, not even for him. But he was like a wicked guy, and he kept on putting this front of being this nice guy. Again, he had travel 8 hours to go to this colleague's funeral, and he's the type of guy like nice to everyone. He had a female friend that he gave E500 for a baby shower because he didn't know what to buy. I was okay with that, but I want you to realize, he's this guy that is so nice to everybody else, but me, I get to bear the brand, because again, this is the same person I asked to wake me up, and drag me out of bed and lock the door to the room. Mr. Nice Guy. So that's how it ended, for those who are wondering.
Nani Gopi, March 2020, enzo matric. I decided to say, no man, ready. I'm ready. Ready. Guys, welcome to my story time of how I lost my virginity. If leamvula ayinanga, I swear to God, mina manje ngabe ngisayitshitshi. Ngabe futhi ngikhethiwe nje kulo July, ngabe futhi ngiya nasemhlangeni. Nkulunkulu bavele bathi nje, devil nangumntanakho mthathe. Sasifunde ebusuku ke thina sesenza matric sifunde ebusuku. So kwakuyi 10 matches. Kwana ebusuku sisesikoleni kwana. Ngihle nalo boy ke lo mfana lo wami. Hayi ngisifunda. Safunda kwahamba ugesi kwahamba ngisho ugesi kwakuduma kuna impela ku serious kwahamba ugesi hayi saqabana hayibo ngeza ku content nje hayibo umzimba umashisa kwabe ngazuthi nje wathi asameni sendlini wayehlala vele ezansi kwesikoleni saphuma sayendlini lapha nje ngiyasaba ukuthi ngiyazi nje ukuthi kuyokwenzalana sawuhlezi kuba nalento esayehlezi bakhona ukuthi ufuna ukungibamba ngiyanqaba phela ngiyazi ukuthi ekhaya kuyahlolwa. Kodwa nje kukhona into ethi hamba. Ngahamba. Sahamba safika endlini sahlala nje kancane. kwaba njalo okay khonto ethi anginqabi kodwa ngathi namhlanje angamdisappoint umfana wami ngathi nje okay yabona ya okay angiyisola kancane kodwa kakhulu okay ayike senza hibo nga-enjoya nje futhi angifuqananga ngeke bethi nje first day yaw enjoy kodwa mina nga-enjoya okay sesihamba